In this video, we will demonstrate how to complete registration during the first come, first serve phase, which comes after the lottery phase. Once again, you can follow along by visiting the Learn tab right here and taking a look at our student guide, linked here, and it looks like this. Remember that there is no new registration following the lottery, so all the following steps only apply to people who started registration during the lottery phase. So let's get started. After the lottery has already occurred, we can log in. Today is Draco Malfoy. Then we can take a look at our registration details with this link on the left. Sometimes we will see our profile page, which looks like this. In this case, we should check that our profile information is up to date. This means checking our contact information, our student information, our parent or guardian contact information, and our emergency contact information. Once we make sure everything is correct, we can click on one of these Update Information buttons. If we don't see our profile page first, we'll have a chance to do that later. But in that case, we should see this Lunch Preferences and Simply Discount page. First, we can choose whether to have lunch from Splash. So here we'll say yes for both days. The lunch is included in the $40 tuition, but we must have our name tag on each day in order to get food. If we have siblings, we can also note that here. If a family has multiple students enrolling in Splash, the first student costs $40, but each other student only costs $20 each. In this case though, Draco does not have siblings, so we'll have to skip this step. We'll talk about financial aid soon, but just know that the $40 tuition is not set in stone. So let's save and continue. Now we can select our lunch periods with this link. Here, we can just select the times we want lunch. If we don't want lunch from Splash, we can select no lunch period. In some cases, our classes in the schedule the lottery gave us might conflict with one of the lunch periods. So for instance, if on Saturday we choose 12 p.m. and try to submit, we'll get an error that looks like this. In that case, we can either just change our lunch period to 1 p.m. or select no lunch period for now and decide what to do later. We can now submit our choices and move on to scheduling. So here, we have constant reminders that parents and guardians should not be enrolling their children in classes. We can't stress enough that the students need to be the ones taking initiative in the registration process. Fortunately today, I am Draco Malfoy himself, so we are in good shape. We can see that all the steps we've gone through have links at the top, so we can go back and change our information. We can see that this schedule shows the classes that we have been enrolled in. Unlike in the lottery phase, these are classes that we have actual reserved spots in. So for instance, we can see that aerodynamics of brooms takes up 2 slots and says continued in the second time slot. In a lot of cases, we will also have time slots that are empty, as shown in the afternoon. On this page, we can add ourselves to classes that still have open seats. So to do this, we pick an empty time period in our schedule, say Sunday at 10 a.m. We can see that we can still enroll in the study of ancient runes, so we can click on this button at the bottom. And when we return to the schedule, we can see that this class now shows up in the Sunday morning slot. Note that we can't add ourselves to a class that conflicts with one of our current classes. So for instance, we wouldn't be able to enroll in another class on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. We can also remove ourselves from a class. So for instance, maybe we scheduled an airplane flight on Sunday afternoon sometime after the lottery phase. Then we can simply click on the remove link here. And we can confirm that we want to remove the class. Careful that once we remove ourselves from a class, other students might take our spot. And we might not be able to enroll in that class again. So here we can see it's removed. Also, other students might drop classes that we're interested in, so we might want to check back periodically for new openings. On the flip side, if we see an opening, we might want to seize the opportunity to join that class, or else someone else might take that opening. So now, we can take a look at financial aid. If we aren't seeking aid, then we can skip this step. But otherwise, on this page, we can apply for financial aid by filling out this form. Not everything needs to be filled out, but the more information we provide, the better the Splash staff can understand our financial situation, and perhaps the higher chance we can get aid. So here we can just go back. So finally, since we have completed all the steps that we need, we can click on the confirm button at the bottom. And with this last step, we have completed the first come, first serve phase of registration, and we can see our schedule.